Heading down the trail, got my lantern up bright. My horse is getting edgy, cause you're nowhere in sight. The feedback's getting low, but we're nowhere on track. We gotta get ourselves to the late night variety pack. Late night variety pack. Late night variety pack.
It's Late Night Variety Pack with the host with the most, bringing you the roast. It's Andy Nebel.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Late Night Variety Pack. We have got such a great show for you tonight. But before we get started, let me just give a very warm introduction to the man behind the microphone, Nick.
I'm feeling good tonight, Andy. I'm feeling good.
Awesome. Well, as I said, tonight we have got a great show. We're going to have jokes. We're going to have a great interview. We're probably going to have a little something extra too. But right now, let's get to work! We begin with our favorite subject, COVID-19, and our hero, Dr. Fauci, who was presented a $1 million prize for defending science. Fauci was excited to learn that he can finally live in New York City with no roommates.
Zinger!
And in other New York news, did you hear this? A New York woman found an entire apartment behind her bathroom mirror. Yeah, she crawled through to find a world with a snow-covered forest where she met a fawn and even dancing garden gnomes.
Oh, that's Narnia, baby.
New Yorkers were not impressed. They say that's what you get in a New York winter and tons of out-of-work Broadway actors. Hey, what are you talking about? It's just a bunch of actors. Across the pond, the Britons are all upset over the recent interview with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry here in the USA. Hey, what are you going to do, Britain? Try and invade America? You tried that once, it didn't work.
Hey, fool us once, shame on us. Invade us twice, shame on you.
Meanwhile, a massive iceberg broke off of Antarctica this week, and experts are saying it was larger than New York City. What's even more tragic, though, is, you know, that polar bear? Well, his rent is about to double, too.
Yeah, the rent is hell. We gotta watch out for those snow rats.
Hey, maybe he can live with Dr. Fauci now. Out west, an emu got loose from a state farm in Washington. When it was caught, the emu was so flustered, he said, "Fuck State Farm. I've got to get to a Liberty Mutual commercial for work today." In other animal news, New Jersey firefighters had to rescue a deer that got stuck in a fence. The deer was grateful, while the firefighters were like, "Hey, forget about it.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Forget about it. New Zealand announced that they have no new cases for COVID since their most recent lockdown. You know New Zealand. New Zealand is kind of like Tom Brady. We hate them, but only because they're really good at what they do.
That is why everybody hates me.
President Biden announced that he supports making a temporary $3,000 payment to parents going forward. Well, millennials, they're up in arms because apparently they don't qualify if they're pet parents. And now, incredible baby news.
Oh, baby. Hit me with it, Andy.
That's right, Nick. Incredible baby news. So, there's this pretty impressive viral video of a toddler who was basically snowboarding on her own. When she saw this, Northwest threw all of her paintings straight into the trash. A bomb. described as the size of a double-decker bus, exploded in the UK. That's right. Well, leave it to the Brits to start measuring things with the most British things ever. Can you imagine the police showing up and they're saying things like, on a scale of Queen to Big Ben, how big was the explosion?
Oh man, anything's better than the metric system. Am I right? Oh, Andy, was that actually a British accent?
Yes, that was a British accent. Yes, that was. Yeah. In candy news, Nestle announced that they'll be creating a new vegan Kit Kat bar. So now, you can be that friend at any given moment. Oh, and by the way, no ingredients have changed. They've just removed the word cat from the name.
Hey, break me off a piece of that.
Okay, so now, boy, do we have a treat for you. Let's get to our interview.
We are so happy to have Greg Spiro here with us today. Greg, you are an amazing piano player, composer, wonderful person that I've known for a bunch of years. Professionally, I mean, you've toured, I think, 2 years with Halsey in huge places and everywhere, from SNL to the late night shows to Madison Square Garden. It blows my mind.
Who's counting?
It's amazing. Wait, what did you say? How many years?
4, but
4 years?
Yeah, I mean, we started when she was a baby artist. Our first show was to 80 people at SIR in LA, and then we toured 200 cap rooms, double billing with Young Rising Suns, who's another small band at the time. It was, our first tours were very small, and then it gradually grew and grew and grew and grew and grew until it was Halsey, and then I was like, I've got other things I need to do also.
Got it. Well, 4 years it's a lot of time, and it's probably tiring too, right?
Yeah, it sort of eats up your whole life. I mean, it was awesome. I loved it, and the playing in front of 15,000 people every night, and going city to city, and meeting all these amazing people, seeing all these different cultures. It's something that I would not give up, but I don't know if I'd repeat. It was a really great thing to do once.
So when you're on stage at Madison Square Garden,
mm-hmm.
and all right, so you've been playing all these halls and you've been growing and getting bigger and bigger, and you get to that spot. I mean,
mm-hmm.
How do you stay focused? Or I mean, maybe just because you're a professional, but like, and you rise to the occasion, right? But like, do you be at any point you're like, oh my God, we're in Madison Square Garden playing for 15,000 people?
Yeah, that goes through my head probably about like 50 times a second when I'm on stage. In that moment, or at least in that first moment, I was terrified. Because the thing is, the people who are there to hear the music, they know the music backwards and forwards. And I am there playing. The first time that we played Madison Square Garden, it was just 3 instrumentalists on stage. It was 3 of us and Halsey. And I was playing most of the like harmonic parts of the thing. Vinny was playing a little bit of guitar stuff. Nate was doing the drums, but all the bass lines, all the synth parts, all the like textures, everything was played on the keyboard. And so I had this split keyboard. I was playing 5 parts simultaneously, and like holding the pedal down for one and playing the other. And if I mess up one note, it's pretty obvious because it's pop music and it's simple. It's tons of parts, but they're all simple parts. And so like the opportunity for failure is immense. And so, yeah, the first time it was terrifying, and it never really got unterrifying in that way, because it's not like I'm sitting there in front of a piano just being able to express freely. It's like you're typing out numbers on a keyboard, and if you type the wrong number, then it's like the application fails. Yeah,
that's unbelievable. I could talk to you for an hour about that alone. I want to talk about how you're doing in the pandemic. one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you was because I saw some images of you, I think on Instagram or somewhere, where you were doing yoga on a beach. And I thought, Greg Spiro has really got his arms wrapped around this pandemic. How?
Giving the pandemic a big old hug.
Yeah, how are you staying creative, staying motivated? You've got, I mean, God, you could tell me about the new studio you just built. You could tell me about the new business you've got going, but how do you keep that motivation going? And tell me about anything, because it's all really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of like how my life works in general. I feel like my life hasn't worked much differently in the pandemic than it has worked before that, except for no more FOMO because nothing's going on, which has been amazing because I have terrible FOMO. There are all these amazing things going on all the time in LA. And I'm like, I don't really want to go out because I don't like going to things, but I should go because it's the thing. And I'll go there and like be in the special place there and all my friends will be there. And it's like, but no, I don't even enjoy it. So why the hell am I even going? And that's like my nightly cycle when it's non-pandemic times in LA. So when it's pandemic, it's like, it's 8:30 p.m. and I'm like, I'm getting ready for bed. This is going to be great. And I'm going to go to bed by 9:30. I'm going to wake up at 5 or 5:30 and I'm going to do the whole thing again the next day and just create because I love to create. That's what my life is about, is creating. I mean, my mind is, it's like, I mean, it's a double-edged sword because every day about 2 p.m. I go a little insane and then I have to like reel myself back in. Like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing it? And continue on this path of like trying to accomplish these things I set out to accomplish. But before 2 p.m., as long as I fast for the first part of the day, like until about noon, I'm solid. And there's so much opportunity to build. Like in this pandemic, there's so much opportunity to create, and in so many different ways. I could have not done any of the things I'm doing and just composed this entire time, which I thought about doing, but decided to do the absolute opposite and just kind of focus on what I could create into the environment because there were a few key opportunities to create into the environment. One, was obviously I finished my fast just before this. One of those things was technology, because technology's taken like a 10-year leap forward in the past year, and the other was preparation for what's coming after the pandemic, and that's why I built the studio. The technology part, so our artists' incomes are completely destroyed right now because for 10 years there was this beautiful gradual build up to complete catastrophe of recording revenues as digital media got more and more, and Spotify took over. Artists could not. It was like the fire was just burning and burning and burning until all recording revenues were virtually zero, except for the people who have the most, except for the super pop stars. So it created this huge wealth disparity in the music community between if you're a star, if you're like everybody else, for recorded music. But that everybody else could still make money if they had a fan base selling tickets to live shows. And then that went away with the pandemic. So it's like, what the hell do we do? And there was this method of creating revenues for artists that I had been exploring for the past 5 years or so on my own, but hadn't built it to a scalable model, which is allowing for fan-initiated content. And that's where a fan can tell you what they actually want you to do. This crazy idea is like, oh, listen to our fans.
Well, I've heard, there are fan-driven things for movies now. There are movie companies. So is this sort of like that, where you kind of can say, hey, Halsey, write me a song about going to the ocean in Santa Monica?
Yeah, except for one particular twist to it. It's crowdfunded. So the fans they had a voice on Twitter and on Facebook and all these places. They could say, hey, Halsey, write me a song about going to the ocean. But it's like, why the hell would Halsey write you a song about going to the ocean? It's like she has a million other songs to write. And even if a ton of fans want it, they have to be so noisy that it's so obvious that then if Halsey does it and invests the time and money that it takes to create a song about going to the ocean, that you'll actually buy the song and you'll love it and share it. And there's no way for the fans to say, like, I promise you I'll do all this stuff and it'll be worth it to you. There's no mechanism for that. except for if you made those ideas that the fans generate crowdfundable. So the fans can actually say, if you do this, I'll pay you $1, or I'll pay you $5 or $10. And that's, maybe minimal if one fan wants that, but what if 1 million fans want that? And what if 1 million fans wanted enough to pay $1 or $5 or $10 to get this thing? And maybe it's a song, maybe it's a video.
So this app that you've created, it's called WeBid.app, right? Is that,
Yeah,
that's it?
WEEBID.app is the web address.
And people can actually go there now and sign up as beta testers, I think, and sort of get in on the ground floor if they want and begin to test it out. How would people do that?
Yeah, go to weebid.app. If you're an artist, you can reserve your Weebid domain. So it's yourname.weebid.app that we'll give you. And if you are a fan, you can sign up for the beta so that you can download our web app our iPhone app in test flight. And then we also have a browser version, which is almost finished. So you won't actually even have to, you can use it on Android and whatever if you want to.
How do you continue to push yourself with the will? How do you get the will? How do you stay centered to keep moving forward?
Well, there are a few ways. One of the primary reasons is because I know I'm going to die.
Okay, so you want to get as much done as possible before that happens?
Yeah, hopefully not soon, but yeah, I'm 36
Right,
now. I turned 36 the other day, and it's like, man, I've lived a lot of years, and there's still a lot to do. It's like, who knows what happens after this? I definitely don't. But it's like, how many days do we have left? There was a point where I took it off of my computer actually, or I think it just went away when I restarted one time, and I never thought to put it back. But I had a death clock on my computer at one point, because you can, can tell yourself how many days you have to live with a simple calculation. Like it probably, not definitely.
Why would you do that?
Because, well, okay. Have you heard the term memento mori?
No.
It's a Stoic term.
Okay.
It's from Stoicism, and it means embrace or rather, it's a call to embrace the fact that any moment could be your last moment.
Oh.
And therefore, the logical conclusion of that is live every moment as though it's your last moment. And I am not great at that, but I think about it.
When you talk about memento mori, was that what it was?
Memento mori.
Okay, memento mori, and the idea that you're like, you said, well, I'm not really good at it, and I've got to keep reminding myself of it. It kind of reminds me about meditation, where when I meditate, and for me, meditation is the exercise of coming back to the breath, not being able to empty my mind, but being able to recognize when my mind has scattered and then come back to center. So it sounds like you're doing, that sounds perfect to me. That no, you're not perfect at it, or you're not good at it, but you're constantly saying, oh, I need to do this, bringing yourself back to that, which is
or constantly
really
recognizing
beautiful.
I would be better off doing this, and then making the choice whether or not I want to do it or not. And usually if I remember it, if I'm aware, then the choice becomes obvious that I want to live like that. And I want to talk to anybody that I talk to as though it's the last time that I would ever talk to them, because it's so much more meaningful.
It's really beautiful. Thanks. Hey, can you play something for us?
Maybe I'll just improvise a little bit, play like a couple.
Sure. So beautiful.
That's something.
Awesome. So good. So beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. This is called 10 Questions for Greg Spiro.
Oh God. I'll try not to.
And I have a bell here too.
Yeah, the Zoom bell. I hear the ding
Zoom
and then
bell.
it decays immediately.
This bell destroys the entire platform of Zoom somehow with its frequency. I don't know how. All right. Question 1.
All right.
Album or artist you've been listening to a lot lately?
Keith Jarrett, Standards Live.
Sock, sock, shoe, shoe, or one sock, shoe, one sock, shoe?
Oh, sock, sock, shoe, shoe. Of course. Anybody who doesn't do that is a psychopath.
Sunrise or sunset?
Rise.
Really? Wow, interesting. Your go-to coffee additives, if anything?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms?
Yeah, mushrooms. Not psychedelic mushrooms. I've never done those, but I actually, it's on my bucket list. But reishi and lion's mane.
Wow. Okay. All
Also
right.
MCT powder, coconut oil, basically.
Interesting. Okay, so sort of like really hypering the coffee for its nutritional value kind of thing.
Exactly.
Got it. Cool. All right. This is, I kind of know a little something here when I ask you this question, so it's a little bit of a loaded question.
No.
But Herbie Hancock, Thelonious Monk, or Duke Ellington?
Oh,
Pick
come on.
one and why.
Come on. Come on. Yeah, I would Herbie. Duh.
Of course.
And
Herbie
why?
got you. Herbie, tell us why.
Herbie's the man. He's also alive. That's nice. And yeah, see, he exemplifies what music should be in his existence as a human being and in the music that he creates.
Awesome. And did he not like introduce you to meditation or yoga or something? Did you have some sort of a...
He did. Herbie's an incredible mentor of mine. He introduced me to meditation 12 years ago now, 11 or 12 years ago, when I first met him. And then I was just trying to get him to show me some piano stuff. And then he introduced me to Buddhism, and I was like and changed my life. And he's been a mentor of mine ever since. Yeah, I had a 2-hour conversation the other day with him about NFTs, and he's just as much of a nerd as I am about like with all this tech stuff that's coming out, and has been throughout history. If you look at his musical history and his history dealing with technology, he's just like, he's one of those very, very forward-thinking guys.
Awesome. I love these things. Okay. What does the flavor of red velvet actually taste like?
Shit. Terrible. Like, I hate that they even have red velvet anything, because it doesn't have a flavor. That question is...
But what is it? What is red velvet?
It's vanilla. It's vanilla. It's just vanilla with like some like whatever.
Red dye #2 or something, right?
Exactly.
It's crazy. Okay. Does raw meat relieve the swelling of a black eye?
I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
That's perfect. I love that. Okay. Strange or not so strange pre-performance ritual?
I used to not eat the entire day before I would perform. I don't do that anymore. But when I was in Chicago for years, I was always so paranoid about how food would affect my body, because sometimes it drains my energy, that I would just fast the whole day before playing till like 8 p.m.
Got it. Okay. I'll give you that. Favorite person to be on stage with? I know that might be hard.
Herbie.
Herbie. Okay, got it. Herbie
He's my favorite person that I've ever been on stage with. Yeah.
Awesome.
He's my you know, I mean, so he actually he instilled in me not to idolize anyone or look up to anybody, but look side by side with everybody. But But if there was somebody that I looked up to as like this god of life and of like, it would be him. You know, I have to consciously make myself not do that. But he's just such an impressive human.
That's great. So beautiful. Next big thing for Greg Spiro.
We bid.
Got it. I knew that too. Yeah. Big explosion on that one. We want that to be really big for you.
Thanks, man. I think I think it's got a lot of value to add to a lot of people.
Cool. Well, I signed up as a beta tester.
Sick.
Yeah, I'm there for you, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We really appreciate it. And I'm following you. I'm watching your stuff. I'm blown away by what you're doing, and just really grateful for your time and for you still being alive and with us.
Thanks, Andy.
The Late Night Variety Pack is brought to you by the Tomato Association of America. When you're looking for a vegetable to throw at a comic, choose tomatoes.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I want to thank everybody in the studio audience for coming out in the pandemic and being socially distanced from everybody. Thank you so much. I want to thank the big man, Nick.
Hey, thanks a lot, Andy. Good night. Thanks, folks.
Thank you, man. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on Late Night Variety Pack.
My horse knows the way, yeah, we've been there before. We're trying just to make it for dawn. He squeals when I hit him and the whip cracks. He tells me that's okay, cause we're going to the Late Night Variety Pack. Late Night Variety Pack. Late Night Variety Pack. Late Night Variety Pack. No, no. Late Night Variety Pack. Late Night Variety Pack. Late Night Variety Pack. Whoa, boy. Late Night Variety Pack. We're almost there. Late Night Variety Pack. Here it comes. Late Night Variety Pack. I can see it.